Hi, this is Jim, and I just wanted to run you through these premium newsletters a little bit so you can maybe get a better understanding of what they're all about. Now, here's my stock trading record for this year. I've done as good as I've done as I mean, I try to keep it as honest as possible. I might have missed a trade. I'm not saying I haven't missed a trade or missed a number. I mean, I do the best I can. Um, I'm actually behind on updating a couple of things because my dad, um, he's been in the hospital kind of for the last month. It was hospital and then it was a managed care thing, rehabilitation thing, and he just got home, so I should be able to get caught up on some of this stuff. I just have a couple trades. It was like a couple small losses I haven't put on here, but in my newsletter now, the open trades, I have a bunch of them that I think are going to be winners. So actually, the record's going to get better here. Now the big thing about my newsletters is I try to make them as low risk as possible. So you're not going to go broke trading my newsletters. That is one of my big themes. I mean that is why I got into this. I took everybody else's newsletter and I saw people just putting out terrible trades and risking tons of money, and then you'd hear stories. This person lost $100,000. This person lost $200,000. I mean, I've heard every kind of story, and I've known some of the people personally that have done that. And I got to thinking, if I would start a newsletter and put out some trades, I could do help these people out. So that's kind of how I got in this business. This has been about 20 years ago. I started thinking that, and then I got into this business. But this is one of the kind of the hallmarks of my newsletter. See, break even, break even, break even, and some of the profits aren't the biggest. But I think that's one thing people lose track of too, is that they'll think $165 profit, that's no big deal. But that's a lot of money if you think about it. I think when you get into the trading world, sometimes if it's not $1,000, $2,000 profit. So I mean, I take some little profits, and I don't consider those bad profits at all. And especially in the stock newsletter, because we're trading like lower amount of shares, I try to keep it. So this is the stock market newsletter. I'm starting to trade more EFTs on commodities like USO, that's the crude oil ETF, and we got in at 30.93, which is actually a very good price on this one. And we're still in the trade, and we're probably gonna. This is probably gonna be a good winner for us. Crude, again, we only bought 50 shares, so the risk was really low. So we're not going to make as much on this trade. But again, I only bought 50 shares, so we were in at a very low risk. Like I was going to only risk like 150, maybe 200 bucks on that trade. Now here's another thing about my newsletters is, I recommend an amount of shares. A lot of places they just put out the numbers, like they'll say buy at 30.93 and then stop at maybe $2 below that, and then they'll leave it up to you the amount of shares to buy, which that's probably actually the best way to go. But I like putting an amount of shares out there because I think a lot of people would just like to have some kind of guidance on that. So I do put an amount of shares out there. But there's nothing saying, like, if you have a big, huge $1 million account, if I put out 50 shares of USO, you just buy 100 shares if you want to risk more, So that's where sometimes these numbers are kind of deceiving, because I might end up with a $200 or $300 profit on this, but if somebody's been following my newsletter and they know the trades are good, they could get a lot bigger profit out of it than that. So a lot of low risk trades. The majority of them are winners. Let's move. I better move on, or else I'm gonna run out of time here. Um, I can't get the video too long because of YouTube. Now Forex, again, this has been incredible this year. I've hit like 9 out of 10. There's I think a couple losers I got to put on here again because I'm not quite up to date on it. But I got two in my newsletter now that I think are both going to be winners. So again, the record is still going to be excellent. Now for Forex, I'm showing a again, it's not quite updated, but it's pretty close. Things aren't going to change much. As a matter of fact, this will probably go up if nothing else. Now I'm showing 2,438 profit on these trades, but again, what I'm recommending in my newsletter is mini lots to keep the risk down. So these trades are, these are nice trades on mini lots. I mean, plus 300, minus 100, plus 285, and down the list, and almost every one of these has been a profit. I've had like a couple losses, and then so the percentage is high, the winners are good, but here's the thing is on this, if you have a big account, again, $1 million account, and you want to trade a full size Forex pair, this profit would be 10 times as much. This would be $24,000 profit. So the trades in these newsletters are good enough to where you can take them and run with them and do what you want to with them. That's kind of the same way with my futures newsletter. Let's see if I can get that record coming up here. Um, Again, my futures newsletter, the record has just been phenomenal this year. Again, I'm not saying that it's always going to be like this, but this has just been one of those years everything has gone right. But I will also say I think I've got this thing figured out the best I've ever had it figured out. In past years, all the past years of my promoting my newsletters, I always, one of my big themes is I'm going to keep trying to improve it, and I study just constantly trying to get the trades better. And I really think I've come up on something that it might not always be this good, but it's going to be pretty close. So again, I think this is going to be pretty much the record or pretty close to the record in the future. Basically, I profit, profit, profit. They're just mostly profits. There are some losses, of course. Everybody's going to have some losses. I did have one kind of the worst loss I had here. See, these are all profits. The worst loss I had was this mini gold. And what we're doing in gold now is, since I got that, again, I'm always trying to improve the newsletter. I just decided after this loss, because I think that's too big a loss, especially for mini gold. Um, we're going to trade the micro contracts now, because I think a lot of people are switching to that just because gold's at such a high price. So now the trade we're in now in gold, we're long gold, and we're in the micro contract. Now, close profits for the year 18,000. That is amazing. If you, I mean, I'm not trying to brag myself up, but I'm just saying the trades are amazing. And the thing is again, if you were to take these trades, some of these trades I put in for many contracts. If you had a big account, you could have traded more than one contract on these trades. The ones I put in for many contracts, if you wanted to trade a full size contract, you could have traded a full size contract. So this record at 18,000, that could be another person with a big account that really hit my trades hard could have 100,000 profit on this. So that's why I'm not real big on records in commodities, even though I know that's what everybody wants to see is records, because people are going to take different trades, people are going to get different results. But right now, my commodity record is just out of sight, and again, that's with trading really low risk because I've put as many mini contracts as I could have. And then there's been times when I've taken a quick profit in my newsletter, and I've mentioned in the newsletter if you would want to bring your stop up to break even and try to go for a bigger profit, you could probably get one, and then that did work out. So again, people's results are going to vary, but profit, profit, still open. That's the micro gold trade we're in. Profit, 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 profit. There's the gold loss. Profit, profit, and I'm telling you, these are all honest numbers, just the way I put out the trades. Again, I might have missed one trade, not because I want to trying to cheat anybody or anything, but I mean I'm busy all the time, and I'm not saying that this record is 100%, but I think it's the 100%. As far as I know, it's 100%. But I don't want to say it's perfect. I've got all the numbers perfect, but I really think they are, and it's just profit, profit, profit. Sometimes I'm kind of embarrassed to show this because I'm thinking people are going to say that can't be true, but this has been the way this year has worked out. I mean, I started out the year with 3 profits, and it's just gone from there. Okay, enough for the records. Enough for the records. Now let's see. Okay, here's the newsletters. Here's one thing I really like about my newsletters, and since I really like them, I guess what I'm trying to say is I think you will really like about the newsletters. I guess it don't matter if I like it or not. But anyway, I try to keep the risk down, and I try to put it just in black and white. Buy here, stop here, and that's it. I take some other newsletters, and they'll kind of, you've seen these newsletters where, well, but maybe gold's a buy. And then if gold goes up, of course they say they're long gold, or and then some of them will say, well, gold may be going down, but gold may be going up. I mean, this is common in these newsletters. It doesn't seem possible, but I've taken enough of them to where they'll kind of put out either way on the trade, and then whichever way it goes, they'll take credit for it, and then they won't give you exact numbers, and then they'll act like they'll say average down on buy if bean oil goes down today, and then bean oil will go down $1 during the day, and it'll pop back up, and then of course they'll put in that they got the best fill for the day, which most people aren't going to be able to trade that way, because if it's down $1 for the day, you're not going to be able to buy it, mentally. So there's a lot of wishy-washy things in this business, and I try to, with these newsletters, I put out just exact numbers. My trades, okay, here's my commodity newsletter. Like my commodity trade right now for today is buy 1 December bean oil futures at 54.05 on a stop loss at 51.90. I mean, just exact numbers, and then I go by it, and if we get filled, then we're in the trade, and I go by that stop. And then here's the gold trade we're in, and this is exactly what I recommended it at, and this is exactly the stop that we first started out with. So I mean, the numbers are exact. Then what else you get in the newsletter is you get like futures charts, and I do have stock charts and forex charts in those newsletters. You get video commentary, which is just mostly commodity commentary right now. Eventually I hope to have forex commentary and stock commentary for those specific newsletters, but right now I just can't keep up with all that, but that will come in the future. And then I have the trading record in each newsletter. So I mean, it's straight up front. I mean, I'm trying to be as upfront as I can. I'm saying, here's what we did in the newsletter, here's the record, and video commentary, charts. I really don't know what else, and exact pinpoint trades, and the trades have been good. I really don't know what else a person could want in a newsletter. I mean, that's why I've been kind of, if you notice my emails, I get kind of pushy about it. I'm like, you need to buy this newsletter, because I just feel like there's people probably out there losing money, and they don't need to be. And I put the newsletters at $99 a year. They were $99 a month, and this year so far I've sold them for $99 a month, because I wanted to give everybody a chance to get in at a dirt cheap price. I mean, I figure if you're going to trade, you can afford $99 a year for a newsletter. They're $99 a year right now. So that sale is only good through August, because I do feel like the newsletters are worth more. And I'm just going to cut off this video. That's kind of the end of the sales pitch. But I really think for $99 a year, even if you're doing well with your own trading, you could use my newsletters as a backup for ideas. There's a lot of good information in these that it's well worth $99 a year. And if you're not doing well in your trading, please get these newsletters, because I know they'll help you. I know they'll help you. And if you try them and they're not for you, I'll give you your money back. So I mean, what else can you ask for? Just try them, sign up, try them. A month, I'll give you 60 days. If you give me an email within 60 days, I'll give you your money back. And you can probably tell from listening to me and watching my newsletters, I mean, I'm not going to be picky about things. If you send me a email 62 days and say I want my money back, I'll give you your money back. I'll work with you however I can work with you on this, but I really think you should try the newsletter. So I appreciate you listening. Thanks. That's the sales pitch. Thanks for listening.